mute. I'm sorry about that. Here I had this big old show going on, and I wasn't even on my mic. I'm sorry about that, guys. But anyway, like I said, I'm crafting with Kim. I'm working in polymer clay. Yeah, I had some music going in the background. I use StreamYard, and I'm able to use a little bit of background music. It shouldn't be too loud. If it is loud, let me know, and I'll turn it down a little bit. But I like to have a little bit of ambiance going on when I'm in there. But hello, Sandy. How are you? Thanks for letting me know that you couldn't hear me. I forgot to turn my mic back on before I started. I wear a little earbud in my ear, and usually I can hear myself, but I turn it really, really low. So, like I said, as you're popping on, say hello. Your first timers, let me know where you're coming from. I work with polymer clay. I'm part of the Crafty Bunch. I am doing this teal event, and if you're not following me already, I really appreciate you go over and do that. If you're not seeing the little red button up there in the corner, then that you're watching the replay. Appreciate hashtag replay. Let me see what's going on. The music is distracting. Okay, thank you for letting me know that. Go ahead and turn it down, or even maybe turn it off. One of the reasons I actually had the music on, you guys, is because I have a like a shop that I work in, and it's a metal, and I got a little bit of a tin roof sound with the rain, and it was raining, so I was trying to kind of drown out that distraction. But hopefully everything's better now. I just went ahead and turned the music off. Anyway, like I said, I've got about 30 minutes today, and I'm going to do my best to show you how to make something kind of cool with clay. I'm actually making like a square container that you can, with feet and legs and all this kind of sort of thing, and working with the polymer clay. I will do my best to show you the process, and whatever I don't get done, definitely will finish up, and I'll have the pictures posted all over the place, so you'll be able to see that. Now, if you have any questions as we're going on, okay, great, glad to know that. Like I said, I usually put the music on when I do the lives, but maybe it was just a little bit too loud. So yeah, like I said, polymer clay, I'm going to be working with, I'm going to go ahead and do I got two cameras going on here, and I'm going to show you what I've got on my table. This is a process. I've already got some of it done already, but I have a video course where I teach people how to work with the polymer clay. And this is actually this is going to be like an abridged version. I go into a little bit more detail in the video course, but I thought I would do something different today. I will be using a color of teal at some point. But right now, this clay right here, I'm using a Super Sculpey, which is a very firmer clay to use. Polymer clay is a clay that you bake in your oven if you're not familiar. Hey there, how you doing, Wendy? I loved your door today. That was great. I was actually working, but I did manage to catch most of that on and off. All right, so what am I doing with this clay? Well, first, it starts out in this brick, and I have to roll it out and kind of get it to where I'm at. This is a big old strip, as you can see. Sorry, with the dual camera, I might freeze a little bit, which is funky, and it's going to drive me crazy if he keeps doing that, because I have two different screens going on. If it ends up freezing like that, I'll just use one camera and I'll go down below, but we'll kind of see how it works, because sometimes storms kind of glitch out a little bit, but hopefully we'll be able to get through this. But right now, every time I move, it's seeming like it's acting up on me. Okay. All right. We'll see. We'll see. All right. So what we're going to do right now, like I said, is we're going to make a square, like a little square box or a little square container. And the way I'm going to do that is take this, believe it or not, this is a block. This is actually just a block of wood. It's like a 4x4. You know what, guys? This is going to drive me crazy. Obviously, I'm going to have issues with the second camera. Let me get and try it this way. I think I'll use the one camera and switch my camera down below, and then you'll just look at the table without seeing the second screen, which is going to keep glitching out. And I'll just kind of I think I can just close that one out. No, I'm going to leave that up because that might mess me up a little bit. Cancel. All right. So now my mic's not working. Mic, unmute. Okay, you guys got me again. Okay, sorry about the technical difficulties. All right, guys. Hopefully I got it worked out. All right, so what I'm going to do, like I said, cut a strip. I wanted this is going to be like the size of the box. Okay. Let me get my comments pulled up here so I can see that too, guys. I'm kind of doing multitasking at this point. Don't you hate it when the technical difficulties come up when you try something really cool. Okay, so I want to put a little texture on this. This is a smooth clay. It's kind of flexible and floppy. I've got it a little bit on the thick side because I want it to be a box that'll hold up. There is an echo now. Okay, well, let me see. That's probably because I need to mute this mic. How is, oh, wait a minute. I know what's going on, guys. Give me a second. I'll work it out. Mute that. Mute that one. Is that better? Let me know if that's better. Sorry about the echo. I have two screens pulled up is what it is. And I would get rid of the other screen, but StreamYard acts up sometimes and it's kind of annoying. Back to the project. Okay, so big long strip here, gonna turn into a box. Oh, that my sound is horrible. Okay. Oh no, it's probably me with the streamer. So what I got here is just a block of wood. It's like 4x4. I put some aluminum around it, and there's a reason for doing that. And I taped the aluminum on there because we're going to roll this onto the block side. It's a little shiny because the lights, and then we're going to create this this box effect. But the first thing I want to do is I want to add a little decorative to it. So sounds all good. I'm looking good. Everything's fine now. Good. All right, good to go. So like I said, I've got this funky little cool rolling pin that's got some textures on it. And I'm just going to do, there's lots of ways to get texture. You can use stencils, you can dab, you can put all sorts of things. I talk about textures. I have a whole segment on textures in my video course. But right now, to make it easy and quick, I'm going to use this little guy. Thanks now. All right. By the way, thanks, Sandy K, all you guys for hanging in there. Hey, Miss Ray, I loved your beautiful wreath. So I'm just going to try to roll on this. I'm standing up right now, guys. So I'm going to get some texture. Now, what's going to happen is because this clay is soft, it's going to misshape it a little bit. I know it might be hard to see that in the camera, but I'll kind of pull that up. There is some really cool, like funky texture on this thing. I've used this thing a few times in videos just because it's easy. So I'm just going to have a little bit of something kind of cool. Now, what I'm going to do is this is going to be the outside of the box. So I'm going to flip this over. And don't worry about the fact that if it gets a little bit misshapen. I know it's a little funky on the inside here, but I'm not going to worry about that either. So now I've got my shape. Now what I'm going to do is basically, let me see, I'm going to start from this end and go this way. We're just going to basically roll it on there. We're going to put it on here. Start from this end. See, you have to make sure, hope you guys can see all this in the camera. I'm actually standing up for this. I'm going to do it about right here, and I've got my measurements. I had to measure the circumference of this thing to make sure that I had it right. And then what I'm going to do at this point is just fold it over onto the square. It's going to be a little bit bigger, but I'm not worried about that. I'll just cut the excess off. Okay, you guys see that so far? Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this down because I want to, that's going to create like a little fold area here. All right, this clay can be a little sticky. I'm actually, it's like 80 some degrees here in Florida, which I'm loving that. All you guys are in the snow and the cold weather right now. So what I'm going to do is just kind of like put a light little corner press on it to make sure it has its corners. Then I'm going to cut some of this excess off. Use my X-Acto knife. Actually, I'm going to use my little tissue blade here. Cut this guy off here. Just going to cut it off, not like the whole thing all the way down to that edge, because I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to flop the other, not flop, but create like a little flap or something on the other side, kind of decorative little flap. Okay, so you can see that right there. See, it's got that little flap going on. Now at this point, I can actually kind of pull it up like this and see it. This is the bottom. I've got it turned upside down. Okay, now what I need to do is I've got the bottom part here, and I'm just going to literally put this on here. Now it doesn't fit, but that's not a big deal. I can actually just stretch this clay out and kind of make it work on the ends. This is the one thing that's kind of cool about this clay is that you can work it pretty nicely. This is one of my favorites. I've mentioned this a lot. If you use some of the other clays, this one's made a lot. This particular brand of Sculpey is made for doing a lot of modeling and figures and things like that. So it's a little sturdier and firmer. And I'm using a pretty thick slab to do this. So this will take a second. So how's everybody doing? You guys out there doing all right today? Everybody having a good time? Like I said, as you're coming on, I appreciate you letting me know where you're from and if you're If you're newbies, then come on and join me up and see what I do with the clay. So right now, like I said, I'm just kind of pinching it together, pinching the bottom together. Like I said, this is the bottom. I'm not too worried about it being as pretty. I mean, I don't want it to be like totally jacked up, but I want it to be pretty enough to where, get it enough to where it's all like sandwiched together. Because what's going to happen is this, when it bakes, it, you know, it hardens up and it just basically sticks to itself. All right. So once I get this end done, I can start working on the rest of it, the coloring part, which is what the teal comes, where the teal comes in. Now, I know that I might be a little bit off on my, the area here, which I can clean that up too. I'm going to turn it over in a minute and see. I might put some wax paper on that so that it don't stick. Sometimes if you don't want things to stick with this clay, you can put a little bit of dusting of cornstarch, or you put like some parchment or wax paper down, and that helps us a little bit. All right, so that's pretty good. I might go back and fix that a little bit off camera to make that a little bit better. All right, so now you can see I turn it over and I've got like a basic box style. Isn't that kind of cool? All right, so I've got that. Now the edges are a little bit like, you probably can't see those edges, but they're not as pretty as you'd want. So what you can do is you can take like a ruler, a straight edge or some sort, just literally like saw or pound them down a little bit to get them a little bit cleaner. And that also, let me put this down here, little wax paper. This also helps with the, making it a little bit more even. So you can I kind of eyeball it. The best way to do this, if you have a template, like cut out a paper template first, and then you can put it together. All right, so I've got the little box itself, and then I've got the bottom on here. Like I said, I'll clean up that bottom a little bit. I am going to add some little feet on it. The little feet will go here. I might have to do that after I paint it if I have enough time, but I will put the little feet on here, and it'll bake up. And then I'm actually going to put like a little button cutout button design on here. So it'll be a cute little box. But for now, for the sake of my timing, I'm going to go ahead and put a little color on this because, like I said, it's about teal. Who out there likes teal? Anybody else like teal besides me? Like I said, I love that color teal. You know, being in Florida, being around the ocean and the water and all that, that's what it reminds me of a lot. And I think that's why I'm so attracted to it. Teals and greens and mustard and burnt orange are some of my favorite colors. All right, so that's that. Excuse me. Now, what I'm going to do with the teal is I'm actually not going to paint teal right on here. I'm actually going to do a brown first, believe it or not. I've got just some acrylic paint here. This is raw clay. Yes, you can paint the raw clay, which I do often. Okay. Anybody have any questions about clay, polymer clay, when I'm painting this up? So I'm basically just adding a brown coat on here. That's all I'm doing. I'll probably put it on the bottom too. Why not? And I will bake this thing upside down, by the way. It will literally bake on this piece of wood. I'll put it straight up like this in the oven on a cookie sheet and just bake it. And then once it's dry, the reason I have the aluminum here is I'll literally just be able to undo this aluminum and slide the whole thing off the base of the wood, and it'll just pop right out. And you have a nice, cool little bowl. I mean, container bowl. You can do this with round or square or whatever. You can even make some fun little vases, you know, using toilet paper holders or not toilet paper. Yeah, toilet paper if you want, but I'm thinking more like paper towel holders, the long ones. You can do it that way. You guys see okay? I think you can kind of see. All right, so I'm just putting a nutmeg color on here right now. And when you paint this, it usually brings out the texture more. You can see more of the texture that's hard to see when you first put it on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some teal or aqua-ish color of some mica powder. I've been working with the mica powders a lot lately, and I think they're gorgeous. So I'm going to put that on top of here to give it another little fun effect. All right, I do want to probably clean up that edge a little bit on that bottom, make it a little bit prettier. All right. Up next, by the way, is Miss Mary with the Painted Peach. And she's always good for some awesome crafts. I think she does a lot of things with the chalk couture. And she always has some really beautiful creative ideas. All right, so it's starting to look like a box, right? Like a clay box, like a little clay container. I don't know if it's a box container. Now, what'll happen is the inside's going to look like that that beige color, of course, because the way I'm baking it. But once I bake it and take it off, I'll paint the inside. It'll be nice and cured, and I can just paint whatever color I want to put inside there. Might do it a different color of some sort. Let's see, maybe cream. We'll just kind of, I'll get that point. When I get to that point, I'll decide what I want to do. Okay, so that's that. It's not quite dry, but you know, I don't think it's really going to matter with the mica powders because I need it kind of sticky anyway. You can't put these mica powders on when it's before it's baked because I mean after it's baked because it won't stick. It needs to be a little bit sticky. So what I'm going to do here now, get another brush. I'm getting a dry brush this time. You guys see? I'll turn it to this part. Do you guys see okay? I think you can see pretty good, right? Okay. All right. I need to get my little button on there too. What I'm going to do for the button, by the way, is I'm going to use this little guy here. It's a little stamp. I'm going to stamp it. All right. I want a pretty thick button. I'm going to stamp it first. Get this out of the way with just this little funky little medallion stamp. Okay. Then I'm going to take my little guy here and then just cut it out wherever I want to cut it out, just like a little cutter. Right? Do that sort of number like that. Now, what's kind of cool about this, if you want, you can add, and then I'm gonna put it right there, make it like a little button design. I think I'll paint that another color. I might do that over. I don't like the way that looks. I'll do that over after we're done. But you guys get the idea. As I'll be putting it on there, making it kind of a cute little color, and then I'll add the little legs and the little feet on the bottom of it. Okay, now let's see what we're going to do with these mica colors. Micas, I don't need that anymore. Where's my mica powder? Here it is. So I'm using a pearlescence. This says actually turquoise, but hey, turquoise, teal, they're all in the same family, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush a little bit of this on. I'm not seeing comments, guys. Is anybody? Let me look and see if I'm getting any comments that I'm not seeing. Maybe not. Maybe I'm getting no comments. All righty then. If people are commenting and I'm not seeing you, then because sometimes it acts up, you know, we get glitches, then I'll go back and look at everything and answer questions if anybody has any questions about what's going on. But it's kind of odd not to have any comments. I usually get some comments about this stuff. If you can hear me, guys, please let me know. Just say, hey, something like that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just putting a little dusting, a little light dusting of this mica powder on here. Okay, brushing it on, and we'll see what we got. It kind of, you have to kind of play with it a little bit to see how much it's going to show and how much it's not going to show. I might need a little bit more than that, looks like. I always start a little bit, and then I go heavier if I need. But it just gives it a real beautiful effect. And we're watching and prepping. Okay, good. I'm glad you can hear me. I figured a lot of you girls are probably crafting or, you know, busy doing something. I mean, I know we all do it. But see, what I'm doing is add a little bit of that mica powder on there, and it gives it a beautiful sheen. And it actually puts a really pretty color, especially with the black. You know, blue and brown are complementary colors, so they go really well together. Oh, okay, Jeannie. Hey, darling. Thanks for popping in and saying hi. I was kind of thinking that I wasn't seeing my comments. Okay, so you can kind of see the effect I'm getting with these with this Aqua mica powders. I put a little bit more on there, but that's okay. I can dust it off or otter. It's kind of cool like that. I'll just put it right here. But it actually looks beautiful. Whew. I've been using these a lot when I do my little steampunk what are they? The steampunk wine glasses as well, because they just are so neat. You can easily, if you don't want to use mica powders like this, you can easily just use your metallics, your craft paint metallics. You don't have to use the mica powders. I've just got to where I like playing around with them, so I've been using them a lot lately. This is really, really pretty in person. I don't know if the camera's really doing it justice, but yeah. I think I got to paint my edge on the inside too before I finish up. How much time I got? Let me see. I got about 8 minutes. Not doing too bad. Not doing too bad. How's everybody out there today in crafting land? Everybody ready for Christmas? Let me ask you guys, who's doing a portion of their gifts homemade? Like either making them yourself or getting them from another crafter. I've actually purchased a few things from the group from that I'm going to be using as gifts. I think that's kind of a cool thing. I actually buy throughout the year too. Like I go to art shows or wherever or something, and if I see something that looks like somebody that I want to buy a gift for, I'll just buy it and keep it until the end of the year, you know, till Christmas. Anybody else do that? Buy ahead of time, or you just wait till it's last minute or Christmas kind of thing? Thanks for the hearts. Appreciate that. Hey, Susan Wells, how are you? You're making most of your gifts. See, isn't that awesome? I do and don't. I kind of have like a small family. I don't have too many people to really give to. So my aunt, my daughter, you know, they get a lot of stuff from me, and I'm like, I don't know if they really need something else for their house decorative. So I try not to bombard them too much at this point with my handmade stuff. But some of the stuff is just dang cool, man. It's like I would want that. So, you know, why not? Anyway, so that's pretty much that. I think I'll leave it. Maybe I'll throw some lemon on the bottom. Why not? Put a little bit on the bottom. But that's cool that you're. I always thought that I appreciate handmade gifts. I really do. But, you know, as a crafter, I would anything that's handmade. And over the course of time and years, I used, you know, paint and do a lot of different things. And I've had paintings. My parents had passed away, and when I was cleaning out their house, they actually had paintings on their wall for me. They were pastel paintings that I had done when I was in my 20s. I'm in my 60s now, guys. So I'm like, what? They still have these hanging on their wall. I was actually like really kind of, you know, impressed and heartwarmed that they kept them paintings all these years. I didn't think it mattered to anybody, but that's kind of cool. No one in my family crafts. A lot of them are far away. Yeah, like I said, I've got one daughter and three grandkids and one aunt living besides my husband, so I don't have a lot of big family. All right, so that's pretty much it, and that's good looking darn cool. I do have to go ahead and put a little bit. Let me see. I got 6 minutes, so I got a little time still to work up some stuff, and I think I can get the feet on there too. Maybe get the button on and the whole shebang. Now, like I said, I can't take it off to show you what the finished product's going to look like because, like I said, I'm going to be baking it upside down until it gets nice and hard. I can't pull it off, even though it would stay in the aluminum. It would keep its shape pretty well, but I don't want to take a chance on it flopping on me because when you're working with polymer clay, it's kind of floppy until it's baked. It needs to have some sort of an armature or a base to kind of set on itself so that it doesn't flop around. And you can rebake polymer clay over and over again, you know, with your clays and your other pieces and mix the clays up. But also remember something like this, if you're doing it, you have to kind of give it its base again because you put it in there nice and firm and then you want to rebake it, it'll kind of flop a little bit on you. It doesn't keep a shape so well. So it's always good to have like I said, something to like this, like the block or brick, or if you're slumping or whatever you're doing. Forgot to paint that inside area there. Okay. All right. So let that dry. And while that's drying, I'll put a little bit of I'll put the feet on. Actually, I can do that. Has anybody ever worked with polymer clay before? Are you interested in doing this? Anything with the clay? Let's see. So I got 4 minutes. I do not want to cut into other people's time. By the way, that's going to be Miss Mary again with Painted Peach. If you're part of the Crafty Bunch, go ahead and just hit your refresh screen. If you're not Crafty Bunch, then why aren't you? Why aren't you? You need to join the Crafty Bunch and have a good time and watch all these great crafters. These feet, I want to paint them. I'll probably paint them like another color. What color should I paint the feet? For my accents, maybe for my feet and for my little button, I'll paint it a different color in the inside. So that'd be kind of, I'm thinking cream. What do you guys cream? Black, something like that. You know, I've done some holiday things. I kind of want to do something as more of a gift giving. So black or cream or another color. Anybody got any ideas what I should do color-wise on these because I want to make it like a little bit different colored. I don't know. Like I'm going to do that button over. As a matter of fact, I'll just do it this way. This is easy peasy. I'll just roll it a little bit, and then I'll cut it out with I'll do my little design again. Okay, because that one wasn't very centered, and that one shows up much, much better. I'll show you what the design looks like. There you go. Isn't that cool? All right, then I'm going to cut it out, try to center it as best I can and cut it. All right, and that's how you make a quick little button medallion. And then that'll go, like I said, I'll paint that up and put it right there. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling cream or tan or something. I think that would be a nice accent for this. What do you guys think? Don't worry about the feet. They'll roll up. I'll put them back on. I kind of like the cream idea. I think that either would be nice. You're saying dark blue. Dark blue wouldn't be a bad idea either. Like I said, look at the colors here. It's like a brown with the teal. And so dark blue is a thought. I have a mirror that I just did in navy blue, which I don't really work with that very often, and it was kind of cool. But anyway, you guys get the general gist. Is it's going to have the feet on there when I turn it over, and it'll have my little button. And then there you go. I'm going to actually use my little, there is this stuff here. I've got like 2 minutes. I've got enough time to show you this. So this is a Sculpey glue, and it actually glues your pieces, your clay pieces together. If you have like little pieces like this, just for an extra insurance, you can put a little dab of this stuff and pop it on there. Since these feet are going to be sitting and having the pressure, I'm not going to worry about that. But for this one, I'll put a little bit of dab of this on here before I bake it. It just helps it keep it, possibility of falling off because it's a little bit heavier on the side. So yeah, so there you go, guys. Basically, I'm going to go ahead and put my camera up here because it's just about time for me to leave. That just went real fast, didn't it? Okay. All right, guys. So like I said, this is basically a shape. I wanted to show you something totally different with working with the polymer clay, how you can actually create a bowl or a structure. And I'll do some bowls at some point and platters and all kinds of things. You don't just do figurines or jewelry. You can really do a lot with this polymer clay. It's very versatile. But okay, I'm just about ready out of time here. And I want to give Miss Mary her props and go over and join the Painted Peach guys and see what she's about. She's got some good stuff. And I'll be catching you soon. I'll be back for the Winter Wonderland thing. I think on Monday. I'm doing that in the afternoon. So hopefully you go and say hi to me and join my page and never worked with clay like yours. If you want to learn, you private message me and I can give you more information about that little class. It's only $12 and you have all the videos. I got to run now. You guys, love you. Have a great day. And I'll be